Good evening and welcome to the Cape Charles Town Council public hearing and regular meeting, July the 21st, 2022. Can I get a roll call?
Buckholz present.
Holloway present.
Bennett present.
O'Brien present.
Grossman present.
Fulmer present.
Let it be known we've established a quorum and Town Manager John Hosey is on the phone because he's away on vacation. Poor feller. Can I get everybody to rise for a moment of silence and pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Up first is public hearing. There were supposed to be two items on the docket for tonight, but the conditional use permit for 11 Randolph Avenue was pulled because of the July the 5th Planning Commission meeting cancellation. So on the public hearing agenda tonight, we've got a conditional use permit application for 211 Madison Avenue for an accessory dwelling unit and swimming pool. Do it. Yep. Ms. Nunez.
Thank you. You do have in your packet the staff report for this. It's for a 648 square foot accessory dwelling unit and an in-ground pool. We did have some initial hiccups with the survey that went to the Planning Commission. We got that corrected. So what is in front of you this evening is the corrected revised survey with all of the correct components to be in compliance with our zoning ordinance. If you approve this evening following this public hearing process, they still need to go through the HDRB application to achieve those necessary permits and approvals and then on to the building official. But at this point, we are recommending approval of this application. It is slightly nuanced since they are actually doing some improvements to the existing structure, and that's part of what this is addressing with the in-ground pool and the layout of the site plan is with that expansion to the existing structure as well as the accessory dwelling unit being requested for their mother-in-law to move into the premises to help them with the care of their son. That's all I have.
All right, do you have anybody to sign up to speak?
The applicant, Michelle Davidson.
All right. Ms. Davidson? You need to come up to the mic.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Davidson. Making this application, we've had the residents at 211 from Madison Avenue since 2017 and have wanted to move here as full-time residents, but have been unable to do so because of the structure and limitations of the structure. We have a 15-year-old son with spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy who our lifelong plan is for him to remain with us until we can't take care of them, hire people, and then he would go with his siblings if something would happen to us. So the long-term plan would be for him to live here with my husband and I being his sole guardians. Unfortunately, he's 120 pounds now. It makes it quite heavy to carry up to the bedroom. So we are looking to do some modifications on the first floor structure with a handicap bedroom, a therapy room. We do have a pool where we live now in Chesapeake, Virginia. He's made considerable gains with aquatic therapy and has a physician recommendation to continue that as long as possible. So that's why we are requesting the pool, the in-ground pool as well. The mechanism of him being able to do aquatic therapy is the pool has to be heated about 95 degrees to prevent spasms. So using public schools pools is a little bit difficult because they're never warm enough, and then he has spasticity as a result of his condition. My mom, who is 83, believe it or not, is agreed to live in the accessory dwelling building, which we're building for her. She'd like to maintain as much independence as possible, but would like to join us in being available for his care as well. So that's why we're requesting the accessory dwelling building with a garage underneath as a place for her to live so she can help us and be close by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Nobody else has signed up, and I did not receive any comments in writing for this.
Make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, item 4, recognition of visitors and presentations. We got recognition of an employee celebrating a significant anniversary. I didn't realize you were that old. But Patrick Crispin, he's been with the town for 20 years. So thank you very much, Patrick. Appreciate all the work you've done for the town over the years. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You do.
Someone move his candy jar.
All right. Okay, item 5, public comments, just in general.
Okay, David Gamino.
I guess I was going to defer to when it's appropriate to speak on that. The zoning, I'm going to now is the time to do so.
Defer to what now?
As far as the new business that I have, the zoning paper I have in front of the council today, I didn't know when the appropriate time was.
Well, it's, I mean, the application, you get to speak during the application process
That's what I
anyway,
thought.
so.
Okay, very good. I think I signed them up.
Okay.
My apologies.
Okay, so are you wanting to speak? Okay, John Dahl.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I think everybody knows me, but my name's John. I'm the general manager of the Hotel Cape Charles. We appreciate the opportunity for you to consider the zoning issue before us tonight. This will allow the hotel to continue operating as it has for the past 5+ years, at least for as long as I've been there. I think we can all agree that parking in town can be an issue. Please take that into consideration as we're deciding this. And I think another point to make is if golf carts at the Hotel Cape Charles were an issue, we would be standing here before the last 5 years. I mean, we've been doing it for 5 years. So if it was an issue before now, we would have known about it before then. And it's also worth noting that all 6 of my golf carts are sitting in the lot right now. And our guests don't go out gallivanting in the middle of the night in these golf carts. They take them down to the beach. They go to the restaurants. They bring them home. Most of my people are back in bed checks 9:30. So if, like I said, if it was an issue before now, we hadn't been made aware of it. But I do appreciate your consideration as we move past this so we can be compliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goff.
No one else has signed up, but I do have several emails to read.
Okay.
From Amy Townsend and Reverend Clark Cundiff. Says, good afternoon. My husband and I own a condominium in the Wilson Building, Unit 203 on Mason Avenue. We purchased the property many years ago. As so many others, we fell in love with the charm and friendliness of the town and spend as much time as possible here. It has recently been brought to our attention that a property owner, Mr. Gamino, is requesting a zoning change from residential to commercial for the property he owns on Randolph Avenue. We strongly oppose the encroachment of commercial property within the residential area. If this is approved, it will set precedents for other buildings in the area, and we believe this to be in conflict with the comprehensive plan for Cape Charles. Thank you for your careful consideration of this important matter. This one is from Alana Smith, who's the owner of Eastern Shore Popcorn, and she states that I support the hotel's proposal to rezone the lot on Randolph behind the hotel. From Patsy Harris at 630 Carousel Place, to whom it may concern, I am in favor of the request by Hotel Cape Charles to have the empty lot behind the hotel rezoned for use for golf cart parking and trash can storage going forward. Hotel Cape Charles has been a boon to this town, and I think we should do whatever we can to help them operate the business in the best way possible. Thank you for your consideration. From Margaret, Margaret Van Cleef. As a full-time resident of Cape Charles and the daughter of a full-time resident of the Wilsons Building, I'm concerned about news that I've heard regarding the possibility of building a 4-story expansion of the Hotel Cape Charles on top of the Bettis Building. First, there is the close-to-home worry about blocking windows of residents with north-facing condos in the Wilsons and the added parking issue on Strawberry Street, which is already often too full for residents to find a spot. But perhaps more importantly in the long term is the concern of residential space being possibly rezoned as commercial and the precedent that sets in town as we struggle to find places for the people who work in the town and county to live even now. I would urge the town to think very carefully about the encroachment of new commercial property within the residential area of Cape Charles. Given the information I've gathered so far, I am not in favor of this proposed rezoning. It does not sound to me to be in the best interest of our town culture. Thank you for your time. And the last one is from Dora Sullivan. It says, good evening, Honorable Mayor and council persons. I have lived here for the past 25 years. I have witnessed it all, from the pain and loss of dear friends and loved ones to a community that rallied together when someone could not afford to cover the expense of a funeral for someone they loved. Many things have changed in our small community, which of course is understandable. What I have never witnessed was bullying, someone so angry that they believe they can be the police. What would make someone chase after someone, yelling and screaming about what the rules are? You are not the police. If there is a problem, then report it. I would hate to think that after all the many years of Cape Charles being a lovely, welcoming place to visit and live, that we would be thought of as a town where if you do something wrong, you become publicly humiliated and bullied. What purpose does that serve? What taste does that leave? We are better than that. Thank you.
Thank you, Libby. With all the public comments done, we'll move on to item 6, which is the consent agenda. Please note that due to technical issues, the May 31st, 2022 financial report is not available for review. Sure it'll be at the next meeting. So you'll be approving the agenda format and approval of the minutes. With the exception of the May 31st financial reports.
I'll make a motion that we approve the format and meeting minutes in our package.
You have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, there is no unfinished business. New business, Virginia DHCD Industrial Revitalization Fund Grant for the Roosevelt School rehabilitation. Mr. Hosey? John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, can you hear me?
I got you.
Okay. This is the item that I had briefed you on previously, that we were working with the Roosevelt School Initiative Group to assist them in getting a grant that would significantly help their project. We looked into it. We think we can help assist them without it being a huge administrative burden, but it does require the passage of this resolution in order to put in the application, which is due next month. So it really needs to be done this month. With that, staff recommends approval of the resolution.
We have a recommendation.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 20220721.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion, we've got a second. I move for adoption of resolution 20220721, authorization application submittal for industrial revitalization funding for the rehabilitation of the Roosevelt School, as noticed, and forego the reading of the resolution. Can I get a roll call vote?
Buckholz, yes.
Holloway, yes.
Bennett, yes.
O'Brien, yes.
Grossman, yes.
Fulmer, yes.
Let it be known as unanimous. Item B, conditional use permit application 211 Madison Avenue. Ms. Nunez?
As I indicated in the public hearing, we have this application for a 648 square foot accessory dwelling unit and in-ground pool. The Planning Commission heard this at their meeting last month, and they voted in support of this application with a motion from Paul Grossman, seconded by Michael Strube, to recommend Town Council approval of the conditional use permit 2022-003 for an accessory dwelling unit and in-ground pool at 211 Madison on an application filed by Michelle and Nathan Davidson pursuant to Cape Charles zoning ordinance section 4.2J, and a conditional use permit for an in-ground pool pursuant to Cape Charles zoning ordinance section 3.2C5, and it was unanimously recommended to the Town Council. And it is fully enclosed for your review. If there are any further comments or questions from me, we would recommend your consideration of this.
We have a recommendation.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the conditional use permit 2022-003 for the accessory dwelling unit and swimming pool at 211 Madison Avenue, based on our acceptance of or adherence to the zoning requirements as outlined in the staff report.
Second.
Got a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Mr. Inez, I think you're still on deck. Rezoning application for 238 Randolph Avenue.
Again, for background for the public at large, this is an update of the joint public hearing, which was held on May 3rd, 2022 at the Town Council meeting. We provided a further update to you at your June 16th, 2022 meeting. The Planning Commission did vote to recommend the rezoning of Tax Map 83A3-1-625A, but not with the then submitted proffer statement, which was dated May 3. But they did detail their conditions as to the recommendation, which I provided for you in the staff report. Those conditions were forwarded on to the applicant for his consideration, and we did have the conversation that, again, with proffers, these are voluntary from the applicant, cannot be compelled by the town for a conditional rezoning proffer statement. With that said, Mr. Gamino did provide a revised proffer statement to the town on July 7th. There it is. Thank you. He did make some of the revisions that were proposed by the Planning Commission in their recommended statement, but he did not fully agree with all the recommendations, including the Planning Commission's recommendation to eliminate the golf cart charging station and dedicated parking space on the lot. He did make further amendments to the site plan to show his consideration of incorporating some of those recommendations from the Planning Commission, such as agreeing to a full trash dumpster instead of the individual trash receptacles that the town would supply. He did not commit to a committed frequency of disposal schedule, but indicated that the disposal would happen as needed. He also made reference to the use of those by parcels that would be receiving those services for use of the waste management piece. I think that is an improvement to the prior situation, because definitely too many dumpsters was really clogging up the area, and also then having to move them out to the street once a week was not conducive and would not be equitable to what is considered the residential neighborhood over there, and how many dumpsters would normally come out onto the street, or in this case trash receptacles onto the street on a weekly basis. So I think the improvement and offering of that condition is a step forward in getting us to a better application for your consideration. As we indicated, we have limited him now in his application and site plan to only 6 spaces for golf carts. Again, it did not follow the recommendation from the Planning Commission, and so that may require some conversation from the board this evening. As further indicated, Mr. Gamino is here if you would like to hear from him and get further clarification on any of his proffer statements or conditions offered within that revised proffer statement. I will stop now if you want to have that conversation first, or if you want to continue.
I'll stop me there, the thing, so you want to come on up, Mr. McGee?
So good evening, everyone. Thank you once again for hearing from me on this particular paper. Thank you to Ms. Nunez. She has put a ton of work in on this, I can tell you, in the back and forths over the last 4 months. She's really done an outstanding job. I mean, we don't agree on ultimately, on her recommendation, but I understand as a zoning administrator, she's going to default follow the comp plan, and I understand that. But I'd submit, there are exceptions everywhere to comp plans, and that's why we have this process. I have submitted an updated proffer to you, and I just wanted to start out by, sort of making clear, just to put this in perspective, if this paper passes tonight, tomorrow morning when we all wake up, nothing is going to be different about what's happening at the hotel. The neighbors are not going to be impacted in any different way. There's going to be no other activity that hasn't happened for the past 10 years. It's going to be exactly what it was. And the reason I say that is because, this is really, this paper, this solution of rezoning is kind of a solution in search of a problem. It really is. There hasn't been any problem with the use until 2 years ago when we got a single complaint about the dumpster that we had put out there for recycling, rather than making John drive to the recycling, place every day. And we generate a ton of recycling, and we try to be a green hotel. So we put that dumpster there, and it was there for about a year. And we got a complaint from someone who had just bought the house. And that's when Ms. Nunez contacted me, and that's sort of when this whole thing started. But the fact that over 10 years that it has generated a single complaint kind of belies the notion that this activity somehow is intruding into the residential neighborhood and causing some, not peaceful enjoyment of the area, because it's simply not. We would have heard about it long ago, and I'll say that a couple of times. But this activity is as low impact as it can be. This zoning paper, even makes more efforts to mitigate that through screening and through, garbage collection. But I just want to, reinforce to the council that, again, if the paper passes tomorrow, nothing's going to be different other than the fact that we'll finally be compliant with the town code. And again, we're talking about a monthly propane delivery for us and for the coffee house, a weekly garbage collection now that'll be taking place, and some golf carts occasionally going in and off the lot. And as John said, the golf carts are used in there's much disruption in the hundreds of golf carts going up Randolph Avenue than there are with our few golf carts every once in a while going off the curb. I mean, really. Everybody has golf carts going on and off their property in this town right now. So it's just, if the golf carts were a problem, and that's why I didn't change it, because it's an amenity, it's an important amenity. We don't want to put them on the street because there's no parking on the street. It's much safer for our clients to have them on the lot, and it's not a problem. It doesn't make any noise. They're electric. So I just would ask you to think about that, and that's why I did not amend the proffer to reflect that. The second thing that seems to be coming up in some of the communications, it was communicated tonight to you all, is this notion about precedent. I'm an attorney. I'm familiar with precedent. This does not set a precedent. We all know that it's not going to set a precedent. This is a super unique set of circumstances. It's a unique lot. It has been used sort of in this non-conforming way, but allowed for many, many, many years. I mean, 10 years by us. And there's no other business that of our size that needs this kind of services, and there's no other lot that backs up to a business like that. And quite frankly, the last thing is, the town's zoning capacity and administration is so much more competent now than it was 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, the zoning officer, and we didn't think about it. We just assumed we'd be able to use that lot because it had been used. But now, if somebody tried to do something like this now, zoning, like they did with me on 7 Strawberry Street when I tried to file my plans for that, Ms. Nunez simply said to me, hey, you don't have the support services to service this business, and I'd love to help you set this business up, but you got to figure that out. And that's what would happen today if someone tried to do something like this. This isn't going to set any precedent of all of a sudden all these businesses trying to expand onto Randolph Avenue. This is a very, very unique situation. So I'd submit it's not a precedent-setting development at all. Third, again, about the golf carts, I'm not aware of a single complaint that we've had in 10 years of use of golf carts over there. And, the golf carts on Randolph Avenue, the golf carts all over town, we don't want to put them on the street. It makes no sense to put them on the street, and we hope that you can see the sense to that argument. And just finally, I'll just say this. So, and this isn't necessarily like point on relevant to what we're discussing here, but I just feel like I need to bring this up. 10 years, it wasn't a prudent, 10 years ago, it wasn't 12 years ago, it wasn't a prudent decision to spend $2 million on that place. and invest in it. It wasn't. And there've been a lot of lean years. And now it's finally bearing fruition. But I've continued to invest over the years, and now we're a luxury destination. And excuse me, we have like 5,000 people that come here, and those people spend millions of dollars. And that's not an exaggeration. They spend millions of dollars in the town, and they generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax revenues, and that supports the businesses in this town. That supports the town government, and most importantly, it supports the residents. That supports the residents. Everything that these people do when they come into town, where they come, they eat, they shop, they leave, that is low impact. It's exactly what a tourism-based economy wants, and that's what we're providing. And 365 days a year, we try to give to the town of Cape Charles through that business activity, through investment. There's no one that comes in the door. There's no organization that comes in the door that asks for things that we don't try to, help. So, we haven't asked for anything really from the town in 10 years, and this, in the world of in development and entitlement hearings and things like that, I would respectfully say, this isn't a big ask. This is really it's common sense. It makes sense for the town. It makes sense for us. Quite frankly, it makes sense for almost all the residents in the town. And I just hope that tonight that the town will support the hotel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Camino. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's fairly simple, but are you currently using trash cans to take the trash out?
We are. So we have a line of probably 12 or 13, and every week John takes them all out down to the curb.
And you did have a dumpster for recycling?
We had like a
Which
4-yard.
complained about.
Yeah.
But there have been no complaints about the trash cans?
No.
There have been complaints about trash cans. Just for my clarification. The other thing is, we had a comment regarding the 4-story addition to the hotel. I just want to be clear that this application we're considering tonight has nothing to do with that.
That's correct.
It said in Strawberry.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct. This is
Sure,
that's sort of.
The comment is if we were considering that tonight, we're not.
Right.
I just want that to be clear for everybody. And I do agree with you that I think this particular lot is a unique situation. Not precedent setting.
I just have one question. I can't remember. How many, is 6 the amount of golf carts you've always had, or is that less
It is.
or more?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I saw a comment in the staff report that somehow indicates that we're asking for more golf carts, but we're not. It's 6 golf carts. Yeah. So
Thank you.
I'm not sure why that
Anybody else
is.
have any questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Camino.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Nunes? You got anything else to add to this?
You are correct in pointing that out. I was going to note that if he should consider purchasing the Bettis building and look for an expansion to the hotel, that would actually be a public hearing required through the Board of Zoning Appeals, because that would require potentially a variance to the height issues. Potentially, if he stayed within the height requirements of the zoning district, that may not require a public hearing through anybody. That could be an allowable use by right. Just want to make you aware of that. Secondly, because that was referenced in an earlier staff report, in the initial site plan that was submitted on this project, they did show 12 golf carts, and they have since corrected that down to the 6 in this revised site plan. We have given you some courses of action that you can consider this evening. Part of what I wanted to remind before you start considering and deliberating is whichever decisions you choose to make this evening, we hope you provide supportive reasoning, whether it be through the comp plan, impacts to adjacent property owner, comments heard through the public hearing process, or the elements of their offer of proffers as a conditional rezoning consideration as part of your support for whatever votes you do take this evening. I'm willing to help you in crafting any such motions you may need assistance with. So with that said, in your staff report, I did provide you what could be your 3 courses of action this evening. One would be to vote to approve as presented by the applicant with the amended proffer statement and site plan. And again, said vote should incorporate the appropriate supportive rationale with that. If you feel that the proffer statement does not fully address all the concerns and issues raised through the public hearing process and through the staff reports and through the Planning Commission recommendation, you could actually request to table the matter and continue further conversations with the applicant to see if we could get to a more perfect solution. Or 3, you could vote to deny the application presented by the applicant based upon the revised proffers, feeling that it does not meet all the elements that you would support from a town council relative to a rezoning request. So I think those are your 3 options to pursue this evening.
With regard to your statement about the amended proffer statement, there was one in the package. There has been a second one tonight, so the amended proffer statement is the one the applicant is proposing, not the one that is in the package.
That is correct. There are actually 2 in the packet, so I have to give you the historical documentation so you can see how this has progressed from the first consideration to where we are this evening. And the one that was submitted is dated July 6, 2022. You need to make sure you give me an original, too, before if you don't leave, I need it by tomorrow. Okay? That is in your packet for your consideration. And it's the first one in your packet, not the second one later on. Okay?
You all heard of the staff recommendations. Can I get a motion?
I move that we adopt the proposed rezoning.
With the
238.
No, 238 Randolph.
with the amended proffer
With the
statement.
amended,
Oh, yes, sorry, with the amended proffer.
with the amended proffer presented by the applicant.
Yes.
Second.
We got a motion, we got a second. Any discussion?
So how do we come up with, we've been directed to come up with, don't know the answer to this, but we were directed to incorporate how it should fit into the comprehensive plan.
I think without it, it's going to impact the commercial district because the coffee house will be impacted. This with propane delivery, right?
A number of businesses.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it
How would you like
doesn't.
us to state that?
Sure. Again, as I provided you in the staff report and the comprehensive plan, I do think the expansion and support of commercial activity on the Mason Avenue block is clearly one of the main goals of the comprehensive plan. We recognize that there is conflict in our comprehensive plan to the land use map, the land use component of it, that it doesn't support the expansion onto Randolph Avenue, but it doesn't mean you can't request, we look at the comprehensive map as we do our comprehensive update moving forward and look at some revisions to that to reflect this desire of this application before us tonight. So that is one thing I think would be in your vote to approve ZMA 2022-001.
So I support what she said.
I second that.
I don't think I can create it in the same way, but.
Can we amend the motion to include what Katie just said?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would also offer a second supportive rationale that through the proffer statement, we have minimized some of the impacts that have been expressed through the public hearing process, in particular relative to the location of where the trash receptacles are placed, its screening, and its frequency of pickup. And I think we've also tried to minimize further noise issues by trying to, again, screen the golf cart area around. We have provided a lighting plan through the proffer statement and a landscaping plan through the proffer statement to minimize its visual appearance or intrusion into the residential neighborhood.
Yeah, I got a question on it. Based on, I'm not sure which one I'm on, but they all seem to have the same one. The 2x3 sign and on top of a 3.6 height with uplighting, we're at night.
It is downlighting, and they have
Right,
reflected
right.
that in their statements with the proffers that this will be in compliance with our dark
That's
skies.
all I wanted to do.
Yes.
As long as it's that. Is that uplighting into someone's bedroom or something?
So I'll offer since I'll stand behind my planning commission statement there, that I am okay with it, except for the golf carts. I think the proffer, again, offers and limits to a certain degree, but I'm looking for a proffer that protects the community. And in my mind, I've got adjacent neighbors there across the street that, to me, would be offset with the golf carts.
If it's been run, if
Yeah.
it's been using
Yeah,
it
it's
for the
been in
last.
existence.
And I understand that, it's been done over the last many years.
There's no complaints.
Obviously, as I previously stated, I disagree. I've said throughout the process that if that was the direction that the proposal ended up going, then they needed to propose a solution because it is an existing situation.
Right.
So technically, we're talking about an expansion, as Katie was saying, but in reality, we're updating and improving upon the existing situation. Parking is a serious issue. No proposal has been offered of what to do with these golf carts. The opposition we heard at the public hearings was almost exclusively about the assumption of what a rezoning to commercial would bring, and these proffers have limited to what's currently existing. I see no rationale for going beyond that to be more restrictive, and especially because it would be to the detriment of town. Nobody complained about the actual use of the golf carts. And it's, even if they didn't start parking them all in the spots, let's say they eliminated them, well then their guests would be renting golf carts like everybody else does, and those would be parked in town. So I totally agree with everything here, except for number 3, taking out the proffer about golf carts.
I agree with Andrew with regard to the golf carts. I think it would be a bigger impact on the neighbors if they parked on the street than if they're parked in the lot.
Especially with
Well,
cars running across to church.
And I would like to add, I actually live on an alleyway, and this one here wires it out. But I'm dead serious, having one of those businesses, it's like Grand Central Station,
Yeah.
going through that alley all day long, got almost blew into beds, more traffic through my alleyway than be off that property.
Right.
And there's the house right on the other side of that alleyway as well, so,
I think Mr. Gamino did a really good job in summarizing it. It's a solution instead of a problem, because he's provided a solution to a known problem across the entire town. So.
I move then to amend the motion to strike number 3, which removes golf carts as a permitted use, and go back to the original proffer, allowing them as currently being used.
His amended proffers, his most recent.
The most recent proffers.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
right.
That's what it says. Isn't that what our first motion said?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
You have a
No,
second.
we-
Yes, we have
You already did have a
Yeah.
second.
We're in the discussion mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
no.
in the first motion, it said to the amended proffers, which included.
Right.
Which included,
And we just had to support it with the comp plan. I think we've done a good
Then I
job of
move
that.
to amend the original motion.
But the original.
But your original
Yeah.
motion included the golf cart plan.
yeah, the
It
original
included it.
motion, because I actually stated that, the process.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
It did,
Yeah.
yeah.
yes.
Can we vote?
We're good. We just
Can we vote?
So just so we're clear, the original motion,
Included the stuff with the trash cans, it included the delivery for the propanes, and it included the golf cart staging
the
area
proffer
6.
presented by Mr.
Yes.
Camino.
Yes.
And he's gonna get you the original copy
Yes,
tomorrow.
yes. And so everyone's clear before you take your final vote, that proffer and site plan get recorded in the clerk's office in Eastville, and it becomes an amendment to our zoning ordinance permanently. Okay?
So did I unintentionally include anything else that planning commission disagreed with?
Yeah.
I only wanted to put the golf carts back in. Is that what I did?
It's in, it's in, never went out.
We have on the floor, that we have the original, motion and second, we've got the amended motion and second. Can I get a vote on the amended motion?
A vote or
A vote.
A vote.
I need a vote on the amended motion.
Amendment to the motion.
a roll call vote?
No, just the vote.
The amendment,
All in favor?
So I,
Say all in favor.
right, so you have to say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 You're right. Opposed? Okay, now back to the motion. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
5-1. All right. Thank you, Mr. Domino.
Thank you.
Please get Ms. Nunez that original proffer tomorrow.
Thank you, Katie.
Yep, thank you, Katie. Okay, item D, request to VDOT for installation of crosswalks. Mr. Hosey, you still with us?
Yes, I am, Mr. Mayor.
You've been quiet this meeting,
this
I'm
was
just throwing that out there.
Yeah, well, that's what the mute button's for. This came as a request from a resident, which we thought made a lot of sense as far as making sure there was a safe passageway from folks like that live in Myrtle Landing to the pharmacy. To get there, though, it took somewhat of a circuitous route. It took 3 different crosswalks to make it make sense. I would like to, again, offer my thanks to the clerk for all the work she did in this. She did all the research on the crosswalks. She's the one to put this together, and this accomplishes the goal. Although, and I support staff supports the recommendation. Just I will offer the comment though that even though we put this forward, there's still maybe some hurdles getting it approved by VDOT. So just by passing this, don't think that it's a done deal. Getting crosswalks in can be a high hurdle sometimes, but our recommendation is that we at least try. So with that context, we recommend approval of this resolution.
We got a recommendation
Make
from staff?
make a recommendation that we approve resolution 2022-0721B.
A second.
All right,
And just note, Libby, B needs to be added to the resolution.
Oh, is it not on there? I'm gonna fix it.
okay.
I'll get that fixed.
All right, we got a motion, got a second. Any discussion? All right, I move for adoption of resolution 2022-0721B, request of VDOT for installation of marked crosswalks on Cape Charles streets as noticed, and forego the reading of this resolution. Roll call vote.
Buckles, yes.
Holloway, yes.
Bennett, yes.
O'Brien, yes.
Grossman, yes.
Fulmer, yes.
Let it be known as unanimous. Item E, reappointment of library board member.
Make a motion to reappoint Ms. Kathy Fox
Very-
to the library
very straight.
board.
Hold on. We got a motion to reappoint Ms. Kathy Fox to the library.
I'll second.
Second.
We got a motion, we got a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry, John.
No problem. No problem at all.
All right. Item F, time code revision ordinance amendment for section 42-17.
So this was an oversight, Mr. Mayor, and we apologize. Last year, you may recall, we did a tune-up on some of our enforcement actions. The council specifically wanted us to take a look at golf cart enforcement, and we took that opportunity to also tune up the parking. There was an oversight in the ordinance that was put together last time. This was discovered when the clerk and I and the attorney were working on the municipal update that we're currently working on. So we would like to bring this forward to just put in the part that should have been there last year, and we apologize for the oversight. Recommend approval.
All right, we got a recommendation for approval, and please include C if you're making a motion.
No, the ordinance is
Yeah, the ordinance.
It's ordinance, never
I'll
mind.
make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2022-0721.
Second.
All right, we got a motion, we got a second, and a discussion. I move for adoption of ordinance 2022-0721, amended ordinance 2021-0415, adding adoption of revisions to Cape Charles Time Code, Chapter 42, Article 2, Section 42-17, as noticed, and forego the reading of the ordinance. Roll call vote.
Buckles, yes.
Holloway, yes.
Bennett, yes.
O'Brien, yes.
Grossman, yes.
All right, item, Andrew?
You need to vote.
Yes. Fulmer, yes. That was being
Oh, don't get me started now. I get things I will never get through this meeting. All right, item G, wastewater extension. Mr. Hosey?
So, Mr. Mayor, yeah, so on this one, as you know, I've been working very closely with a potential developer who's looking to put in workforce housing out on the Cassette Parkway up near the edge of town. He's very motivated to make this happen, but the limiting factor at the moment is utilities, extension of water and sewer. As you know, we don't currently have that budgeted, but we did have it mostly designed. In our discussions, what we'd like to do is release the design to the developer so that he can put it out to bid and build it. Now, I've made this clear to him that he's not to make any commit any resources to this until we have agreed on how the town would potentially repay this. So we've talked in general terms of potential tax credits over a number of years that would go back to the developer to help pay for this. That has not been worked out yet, and we are continuing those discussions. But we wanted to at least clear this part off and release this to him so that he can get his engineer to update them and get them ready to put on the street. So with that proviso, I think this is a good step forward towards workforce housing needs, and staff recommends approval.
We've got a staff recommendation.
All right, I'll make a recommendation that we approve assignment of Southern Node Phase 1 plans, specs, and associated documents to Lot 4 Holdings, LLC, and any other company so designated by the developer.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Any discussion?
Just a question, is it at 90% or 100% right now?
100%.
100, okay, thank you.
All right.
So I'm still a little confused on payment for this. Are we going to, is he just going to pay for it as well as put it in, or is he looking for consideration and we're just going to let him fund it?
He is not. Yeah, he is not paying us for the design. That's why I'm asking you to release it to him.
No, I'm asking about
he
the
will.
construction.
Oh, the construction. Yeah, no. The current discussion is that he will pay for it 100%. That's why he would put it out to bid. He would build it. He would pay for it. Once we reach an agreement on how the town would accept that infrastructure and eventually pay him back.
Through tax credits and certain things.
Or what have you. Right now, we don't know any cost associated with it. So right now, we're talking just in general terms, both the town and with the county.
Right. This is just so he can.
Yeah, he's anxious to roll. That's
He just wants to dot the i's, cross the t's, and get the project.
What's the county? What's up with the county?
Well, county is also talking about helping if they can. So we've had meetings with the county as well.
I got
So,
it.
Bob,
Probably.
Perhaps.
you're familiar.
Go ahead.
As a clarification, Mr. Mayor, the design that we had designed was allowed for capacity beyond the town limits. So this is actually a beefier design than a developer needs, and he understands that. That's why the county is willing to come to the table, as Councilman Grossman just mentioned. So any potential tax relief program, we would hope the county would participate in, because it preserves the option for a regional system to someday connect to it.
Where does this go from and to, Bob, just in general terms?
As the staff report indicates, it goes from the wastewater plant, the base bid goes to the R3 property.
Which, down what way, how does it get there?
I'm sorry, Old Cape Charles Road, Cassette Parkway, Old Cape Charles Road, and to the southeast corner, or southwest corner, is the base bid. That's the R3 property. Bid 1 takes it to the southwest corner of the town-owned property, and bid 2 takes it to the town line.
Okay,
And it's a 4-inch force main.
thank you.
Any more questions? All right, we got a motion, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you all for the hard work on that. John, you got any comments?
No, sir.
Yep. All right, Mr. Fulmer, we'll start with you tonight.
I have nothing, actually.
Nothing?
What?
Well, I have so much time.
Go ahead.
I just think that we need to pay attention to the public comments that were written in tonight from Doris Sullivan. We've had some, what I would consider pretty outrageous behavior on the parts of some of our citizens when it comes to trying to enforce the rules of the town. So again, I would just ask people if there are things that they see going on to contact Town Hall, because we have people in the offices that can deal with these sorts of things, and it's never incumbent upon a citizen to enforce any rules of this town. Because we're becoming, there are individuals that are becoming outlaws, and I think that we need to just talk about it and address it so that we don't become a town of angry people. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Mr. Bennett?
No, for me.
Nothing for me.
Oh, that's.
Wow.
I know.
Wait a minute.
It's not even 7:30.
I left my nitroglycerin in the truck. Mr. Buckholz?
Nothing.
I got a couple of things. One, thank you, Councilman O'Brien. I was actually going to touch on that too, and she's right. As hectic as time can be in the summertime, there's issues. Get a hold of law enforcement agency and let the law enforcement handle it. Because if you're doing it yourself, you're going to wind up in jail right alongside the person that you're doing it to. The other thing I want to say, and I'm glad this was on the agenda tonight, to get this workforce housing. I want to thank Councilman Grossman. Everybody knows Councilman Grossman's been on this since day one, since he was elected, probably before that. So thank you for your work. And Mr. Hosey, thank you as well. This is actually exciting. I know it's a lot of buzz around town, especially through the restaurant industries and stuff. We don't have a place to live and stuff. And yeah, I know they would rather live in the historic district, but unfortunately all of those places is took and it's fair market value and it is what it is. But something, starting somewhere is a start. And so thank you all and thank the county and thank everybody that's been working on this and especially the developer that's willing to take this on. So with that being said, August the 4th, Town Council work session at 6:30 p.m. I'm going to be out of town.
Do we have a subject, a particular subject?
Do we have a subject for that work session, John?
No, I don't have a work session scheduled for August 4th right now.
Okay. Do we want
So
one?
that's tentative, or?
It's tentative. Do we want one?
Not if we don't have any subject.
Although if we have work to do, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to be out of time, so work away, Mr. Vice Mayor. And then August the 18th is the Town Council public hearing and regular meeting at 6:30 p.m. right here. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll start.